Hello, Lee's here. I come with you with a new series which is called Book Review, and I actually recently started reading The Edge of Darkness trilogy, and I read book one, which is Insatiable. And the first thing I want to talk about is the character arc. I'm going to tell you a little about the characters, who I love, who I hate, who I find funny. So let's start with who I love. I'm gonna start with Kate because, with Kate is just like a complicated person, but like in a good way, complicated person. And he's trying, and he's trying to be a fighter, but deep down, he's just a lover boy, and I love him, but like he frustrates me. Like she's trying so hard to explain herself to actually make things right and to understand why he's getting himself into that type of thing, but he's just like pushing her away and stuff like that, and he frustrated me because of that. Yeah, like she wants to tell him about like what's going on when he thought she cheated on him and stuff like that, and he was like, she cheated on me and stuff like that, and she's trying to explain herself, but he never really allows her to explain. And I want to hear her explanation because there might be something that we don't know about going on in her life that she wants to tell him about, but he's like, no, I don't want to listen to you. And I kind of find that frustrating. If I was her, I would actually crash out, but like, she is a strong person, you know what I mean, but she wants to tell him, but it wouldn't just come out of her mouth, and he keeps blaming her for what happened, but I don't think she's at fault here. Like, if he just allowed her to explain herself, he would have known a truth, I think, in there. I don't think she's actually the villain, and she actually cheated on him without a reason, and I think he's just like a little close-minded when it comes to that conversation. He doesn't want to have it. When it comes to Stacy, I actually love her a lot. I love how she takes care of him, and like she's so strong. With the whole thing going on in her house with Chris and him being controlling of her, and like he's her stepbrother. You guys, like, in another world, actually, I love reading that type of book, but like when there's consent and like they both want each other and stuff like that, not when one of them is like being violent, or when one of them is being controlling and stuff like that. And like I was just disgusted by the thought of like Chris actually touching Stacy. It's just disgusting, you know what I mean? And she's so strong because like nobody goes through that and like still smiles, because she always smiles. She's trying to actually be positive about her. Like she's like, I'm gonna get out of here one day, and I really love that for her. Like she has such a strength that I admire. Like I love her strength, and like I admire her confidence. She's still like, what is happening to her does not stop her from like living out her life and doing what she loves, and like she's still dancing and going out with her friends, and she's still living her life. And I love that for her, because if you notice, most people suffer being in that type of place, they actually tend to isolate themselves, but she doesn't do that, and that's nice. Actually, the fact that she doesn't want to isolate says a lot about her strength, and even while she's suffering, she's like shining, and I love her. You know what I mean? She's such a strong female that I think a lot of people should take after, and like she still shows up to everything. She shows up to her friends, she shows up for Kate, and I love that for her, even though she have her own struggles. And Tobias, I love Tobias. I actually love him. He heard her out, you know what I mean? He was like, what the fuck do you want at first, but like he was like, explain yourself, because you know what, if my son's not gonna allow you to explain yourself, I want to hear it from you that you didn't actually want to hurt him, and you were like in a condition in your life where you couldn't do anything other than do that. He was like, so he heard her out, And on top of that, like, he believed her when she told him what happened, and he was ready to find whoever did that to her and, you know what I mean, deal with him. And I was like, I love this guy because he is like, he's the dad that she needed, you know what I mean? And I feel like they just bonded, and like in a minute, like in their first meeting, they were like bonding, and I love that for him. And he's a great dad to his children, and he is trying to be a better person for Arya and for their kids. And I really think that is good. You know what I mean? There are people who don't even try, and he's actually trying, and I find that really cute. And Arya is such a cool mom. You know what I mean? She's like, go out, have fun. She's like, and when they were like revealing clothes in the book, she's like, she doesn't object to it. She's like, you know, if you get drunk, call me. She was like, so that I can pick you up. And I was like, wow, she's such a cool mom. Like, she is so cool about it. And she was like, when she was talking with Kate, and she knew all the time that he was actually dating Stacey, and she was like, you know, be patient with her. She was like, and she was like, she's actually the one being patient with me. And she was like, oh, she was like, and you know, she was really understanding of the whole situation, and I really love her for that. She is the best mom I have ever come across, actually. She's very cool. And when it comes to people I find really funny, Base, like I find Base really funny because he's always like talking about inappropriate things, and you know, he's always just like being unbearable to everyone. And you know what I mean? I was like, I like this guy. I need his book immediately. And he loves Lou, and with Lou, I think it's just, it's not that she doesn't want him or she doesn't want to be with him. I think she's just scared of herself, and you know, she is scared that she's gonna turn out the same way, her relationship's gonna turn out the same way that Tobias and Arya's did. And she's scared that she's Tobias's daughter, and you know, she's just really scared of that thing. I think that's why she pushes Base away, even though she wants him. And he still loves her, despite her last name, despite who her father is, despite what kind of person she is. You know what I mean? Even if she pushes him away, he still loves her. And I think that's really cute. And like, he is so funny, the things he say. I cannot. And the 1% that I hate, actually, I don't hate 1% in this book. I hate most. Like, there are like 5 people from this book that I hate. And the first one is just Chris. Like, I hate him in a way. Like, my hate for him is just indescribable. Like, he needs to stop whatever he's doing with Stacey, and I swear to God, like, someone have to stop this man, because if they don't, I fear he's gonna go to amazing, like, to extreme measures, and I don't like the thought of that. And I feel sorry for Stacey that she's living with this man, and she's breathing the same air, she's living under the same roof as this man, and no one even knows, not even in that household, that this man is actually like abusing her. And I hate that, and I hate him. And there's Bernadette, and she is just one of the worst people on earth. Like, she is like the Diddy of this book, you know what I mean? And I hate that. Like, how could you do that to a teenager, you know what I mean? And you lure him in, and like, you actually use him like that. It's disgusting, really honest. Like, and she's the head police officer or something. And I was like, that's just disgusting, you know what I mean? People's like her shouldn't be in that type of position, because they're supposed to protect people's, not actually abuse them. And I feel like it's really offensive, that and it might be true actually in real life too, that we're putting that type of people on top of big places, and I don't really like that. And it doesn't add up. It doesn't measure up. That's what she's doing with the position she's given, and I don't like that. And Archie, I cannot describe Archie. Archie is actually Bernadette's husband, and you know what I mean. He just went and told her what he saw, and he showed her the picture, and then they were trying to kill Stacy, and I was like, I hate this man. You know what I mean? And the way Kate described the fact that he was, when he was 19, and what they did to him after they drugged him and they gave him alcohol, it pains me to actually listen to this type of things. And it was really, really bad. I hated it. And there are the next thing I want to talk about is just my favorite quotes from the book. The first time, that time in her dance class, where she was where he was fixing the light and she was just dancing and something happened there, and his hand was shaking and everything else like that when he gets to his car, and he was like, what was I thinking? Why did I touch her? Why did I let her touch me? He was and he was so frustrated with himself, and he was like, what is she playing at? He was like, the fuck am I playing at? And I was like, I love his fights with himself because it shows how much he wants that woman and he can't even resist her, and it's really a moment of weakness for him every time she's around. You know what I mean? And Biggs was flirting with her, and he was trying to get to Lou, but she was being all pushy, so he was like, I'm gonna flirt with her friend and then I'm gonna get her jealous and stuff like that. And he was so pissed. Kate was so pissed at that, and he was like, I cannot kill my friend, but if I can't, I would. He was like, and it was really cute. And that time when Tyler left her in the room, that party they threw, and they were playing games and stuff like that, and Tyler and her were sharing a room, and Tyler had left her because she went to be with Des. I kind of like their relationship. They're sneaky a little bit, and Des is, I don't know, he doesn't do a relationship the way Base and Kate do. He doesn't exactly yearns for her as much as I thought he would, because I don't know, you know what I mean? He kind of tend to be repulsive, and he leaves her for another girl and stuff like that, and I don't like that a little bit, honestly speaking. But I like Tyler. She's fun, a nice friend. She keeps Kate and Stacy's secrets, so it's kind of fun. And when she left her anyways, in the room alone, he put in his dogs. He led his dogs into her room, and so that nobody touched her. And I find that really cute, because he was trying to protect her, even if he couldn't protect her by himself. He was trying to protect her with his dogs, and I find that really cute. And the next thing I want to talk about is when she wouldn't answer her phone because he was smoking weed and stuff like that, and he was like, I'm just gonna close my eyes for a few minutes, and slept. And she already told him that it's gonna be late after she finished practice, so she told him to come pick her up. But then he actually fell asleep and woke up 5 hours later, and he was like, why is she not picking up her phone? Did something happen to her? Did she walk home? And stuff like that. And then he went to the studio when he broke in, and he tried to get where she lived because he didn't know. And you know what I mean? When he saw what she was qualified in, all the dancing, disco, aerial, hoops, kits, and stuff like that, and he was like, damn, my girl's talented. I love that part, because even in his mind, he just praises this woman. And what I love the most is the flashbacks, they show us a moment of like bliss for them. Like for her it might not be, I guess, I don't know, because of Chris and everything, but like it was like a moment of peace, and they really love each other, and it was their first relationship, it was their first everything really, and they were exploring that together, and I think that is beautiful, like being able to experience that with the love of your life, everything for the first time. Is just beautiful, I think, and I love it, and it was just such an amazing moment. And I love the flashbacks more than I love like the current situation, because in the current situation they're just misunderstanding each other, but like then there was no misunderstanding because like they know how they felt about each other, and I really love that. But now there's like a little bit of doubt, like does she love me, does he love me, and are we still feeling the same thing, kind of that kind of thing. And yeah, so, and that moment where she was like, oh, you're just my friend, and he was like, if I was your friend I would think about you every second of the day, I would want to feel you, all of you, he was like. And I love that because this is from the flashback actually. You know, like I think this was the first time they ever get to third base. I think that this was the first time they get to third base. And he's always like trying to run from like his feelings for her, and you can see it in everything. Like this moment where she was like, and I'm nothing but a piece of shit to you. It must be the entire aspect of loading each other that draws us together. She was like, and he was like, I'm not drawn to you. And I don't move away when his hand come up to push a lock of hair from behind my ear, his thumb stroking my cheeks. Well, I'm drawn to you, Freckles, and it infuriates me that I could be inside someone else, yet all I can see is you. He's like, and I don't know if you're trying to be sincere there, but it make you sound like a total prick. I'm not a sincere man. Maybe when I was in teenager, when I worshipped the ground you walk on, but now I want to rip your clothes off and sink my thieves into your skin. And like, you know, he was like, for most of the part of the book, they were both trying to deny their feelings for each other, like that they still have feelings for each other. And like at some point he was like, but I'm drawn to you. And he was you know, sucking her back into that part of their life where they were actually really consumed by each other, you know. And I love when he said I think he was speaking in Latvia, and he goes like, they're gonna kill all my family, the people I think he said the people I love, and he was like including you. And I was like, he still loves her, like, and she doesn't even know it because she don't speak the language, you guys. She doesn't. And she was like, what does it mean? He's like, I hope you never find out. He was like, I was like, just tell her, you know, tell her so we can all be spared from this torture, you know. And that moment where she met Tobias, by the way, you guys, at first she was so scared of Tobias, even when she think about him, and she was like, he is so scary. Like, I talked to him on the phone one time, he was like scary. She was like, because he told her, he was like, don't hurt my son. And she was so scared of him, but when they met, they become like besties instantly, you know what I mean? Because like they have a talk about the whole Chris thing. She didn't tell him it was Chris, but she told him what happened, and that she was forced into the, you know, the cheating thing, and that was not the real thing going on. What Kate thought was going on, it was not the real thing. And he actually listened, and he was like, I'm gonna find that guy for you. He was like, and I was like, I love this. and the bickering when she called him on the phone. Do you like the hotel scene where Kate was like out of it, and she was taking care of him, and then she was trying to get his dry cleaned clothes, and she called Tobias and she told him about all the things Kate does that day, and he was like, when she started the phone call, she was like, I'm in the hotel with Kate, and he was like, you're not about to tell me you've been fucking my son all night, right? He was like, I was like, why are you talking about this? This is inappropriate. You know. And like when I love that hotel scene because when he called her, she was at the airport, and like he was high, he was out of it. He called her, and she was about to board the plane to go back to Scotland, and he called her, and she picked up the phone, and she was like, what do you want? You know what I mean? Naturally their conversation goes like that. So she was like, what do you want? And he was like, I am so high, I don't know where I am. And he was like, I'm at an alleyway. He was blabbering on about, he was like, I don't want to work. And I felt so sorry for him in that moment in his life, because he doesn't want this. You know what I mean? And he sounds so broken. He sounds so tired from, if you compare the flashback Cade and the current Cade, it's like he's so worn out, like emotionally, physically, and he's trying to drown his thoughts, his actions, his emotions in drugs and alcohol and girls. And you know what I mean, most times he doesn't even want those girls. It's just they're forced upon him. But like, I just feel so bad for him. Nobody should be going through that, less alone. And I was so glad that she was there for him. And then she didn't board the plane. She went to him. She was like, send me your location, and he sent it to her. And then she went to him by a cab, and Barry was there too. In the last minute, Barry actually showed up, and he picked up the phone, and he was like, who is this? He was like, who is this? And she was like, she already like arrived at the scene, so she just got out of the cab and she went to him, and she was like, what did you take? And like Barry took them to the hotel, and he was like, stay here with him for a few days so that he can recover, and she stayed with him. And he was like, when he was talking to her on the phone, he was like, are you Stacy? Because he was so out of it, he doesn't even know it was Stacy. And he was like, and when they got to the hotel room, and he was like, are you, like, you're not Stacy? He was like, but like, you're still pretty. He was like, and she was like, tell me about your ex. They get into bed, and I love how she takes care of him in this moment, because she have done it twice already. This is the second time. You know what I mean? Back then, another hotel room, she have done this when he was high and he came to her after he killed those people who were those people, the Crawley, I think his name is. Those people, after he dealt with them, he came back to the hotel room, and he was like high, and he was sleeping against her hotel door, and she opened it, and he was there, and she was like, why do you have blood all over you? And then she put him into bed, and she cleaned the blood off of him, out of his hair, out of his skin. And I really love how she takes care of him. And this was the second time she does this. She cleaned him and everything else like that, and like cuddling to her and stuff like that. And he was telling her about Stacy. He was like, he told her about like the fact that she had freckles and she was beautiful. She's beautiful. He was like, and he told her that they almost had a child, and I was like, she was pregnant? You were pregnant? I was like, because that is just another level of like intimacy, another level of you know, they almost had it all, and the fact that they lost it is just makes me really sad. And the way he talked about them, it was so beautiful. I loved it. And so like they were in the hotel room. He woke up in the morning, and he was like, you should get something to eat. She was like, I think they do room service. And then he was like, why did you book your flight for 2 days time? He was like, it was. And then she was like, it was the next one. And then he was like, to Glasgow. He was to Glasgow. They're on every day. He's like, and she was like, maybe I was in the mood to fly. But in reality, she was just, you know, she needed more time with him. But she don't want to say that. But she was like, maybe I was in the mood to fly. She was like, and then he was like, or maybe you want to spend more time with me. He was like, and then she was like, don't flatter yourself, Kate. I'm going to another hotel and you can do whatever you want. And then he was like, nope, when I get my clothes, you're coming to the mall with me. We'll eat while we're out. I'll let you drive whatever car I want. He was like, you know what? I am still sick. And you cannot leave me. He was like, and I was like, it was so cute. And she was like, when he said, I'm gonna let you drive whatever car I rent, she was like, I can't drive. She was like, and he was like, I taught you how to drive, remember? She was like, and he was like, why do you want to spend time with me? She was like, and he was, because you're hiding and I want to hide with you. Let's hide together, Freckles. And I was like, I love this. You know, he's willing to actually hide with her. You guys, he's willing to give up that life for her. In that brief moment, it was like none of that happened. He doesn't know Bernadette. It was back to, you know, the flashbacks that he was having. It was back to that, and it felt really nice. And they had a moment before Archie ruined it, and it was everything that I want. You know what I mean? And he bought a motorcycle, and he was like, get on the motorcycle. And he was like, and she was like, no, I'm not going on a motorcycle. And then he was like, I'll throw you over my shoulder. He was like, and he was like, you know, you would not do that. She was like, and he was like, I am going to do it, so you better get on this thing or else. He was like, and I love that moment. And when he was driving the motorcycle, and she got cold, and he was like, you should have said. She was like, I'm cold, and he was like, you should have said. And then he took off his helmet, pulled his hoodie off, and gave it to her. And you know, he gave it to her, and he was like, here. And she just felt free in that moment, you know. And she was in the moment. She was feeling the wind and everything. And he was like, I heard you giggle, Freckles. I think you secretly like this. He was like, you secretly like it. And she was like, I did not. I coughed. He was like, that's a lie. He was like, and I just love every moment of this book. And what I really love is they didn't kiss actually for the whole book, but at the last chapter, the one before the last chapter, before she boarded the jet, he kissed her, and she kissed him back. Now that was a moment of sentiment for me. And he was like, at least I get to kiss her. And it felt like someone ripping my heart out, because I know that he's gonna get punished for this, like big times, and like he's not gonna see her for like months. And you know, getting that kiss was gonna keep him sane, I feel like, even just for a little while. And all the flashbacks, when he gets flashbacks, it means he was dissociating and trying to stay in the moment, trying to stay sane. And that breaks my heart. And every time a flashback came up, I'm like, oh, okay, he is dissociating. He's not in a good place. He's trying to forget where he is, even for the moment, by thinking about her. And it's nice to know that she's like his safe space, you know, the thing he runs to, even in his head. to get away from bad things, like from bad thoughts and all that's going on around him, all the bad things that's going on around him, and I really love it. Like those are the moments I can stop thinking about the flashbacks. You know what I mean? It's just, you see that innocent teenage love part of them, and they're so consumed in each other. They were so cute as a teenager, you know what I mean? Like experiencing their first, and he was always nervous, and she was trying to act all tough, but she was as nervous as him, you know what I mean? Because she was like, I was shaking, and I was like, he was feeling the same way. It was not only you, and it felt really nice to actually see those things and experience them and like read about them. It was really nice. And the playlist, the book have a playlist in the beginning, some songs, and what I really love about this book, by the way, is it mentioned one of my best, like my favorite movie, The Greatest Showman. And you know, when the characters have like the same music taste as you, or they like the same book, or they like the same movie, it somehow makes me feel like I'm connected to them, even though they're not real. And I love that. And that girl have a good playlist. Like Stacy have a good playlist. She listened to The Weeknd, Rihanna, and whatnot. You guys, it was beautiful. I loved it. But my favorite song from the playlist was actually Do I Wanna Know by Arctic Monkey, and also Spiracle by Flower. And also the song Skin by Rihanna was the right song to play in that moment where she was like pole dancing and he was fixing the ceiling. That was the perfect song to play, like, for that scene. And I was like, wow, actually this changed my brain chemistry. It changed my life. It opened my eyes to a lot of new things. And I love that moment. I love it because it shows how much like Cade cannot take his eyes off of her and his mind off of her, and I love that moment. And for the spicy time, my favorite spicy scene was the hotel scene where they had to share a bed. The first time they had to share a bed, and he couldn't resist her, and he was like, do not touch me. He was like, don't touch me. And then like they slept next to each other, and then like they turned toward each other face to face, and they were like looking in each other's eyes and stuff like that. And I love that moment. And then like he actually was awake drinking whiskey because he couldn't sleep, and then she was like, come back to bed. She was like, please let us sleep, you need to rest. She was like, and he come back to bed and he slept next door, and they were looking into each other's eyes and stuff like that. And I think that moment is like intimate, and that was the first time I saw them with emotions, you know what I mean? And it was like a fuck you to Chris because he called her in the middle of, you know, whatever they were doing, and like he was like, oh my god, I cannot believe I'm doing this while talking to him, because, you know, she was like grinding on Cade and then he took the phone from her, and then he like hung up on him, and I was like, wow, okay, yes. Do that shit, you know what I mean? Show him that, you know, she's with a better person than him, because he can never make her feel that way, you know. And he thought she was talking to her like boyfriend, which was not the truth, but he doesn't know that yet. But I hope he finds out in the future, because he's gonna find out in the future, obviously. And there are some songs that remind me of these characters. The first one is Bad by Rihanna and Whale. That song is like, you know, the part where it's like, I never make love, like I've never done that, and that really describes them in like a past tense, you know what I mean? the flashbacks. And Impossible by James Arthur, I feel like that's how Cade felt. Like he felt betrayed by her with the aspect of the whole like cheating thing, but she didn't cheat on him. He doesn't know this full story, but that's how he felt, I feel like. And then there's 2002 by Anne Marie. 2002 is more like the flashbacks, you know, the moments they were like teenager and in love. I feel like it shows that part of their life. And Name by Justin Bieber also shows that. And Quiet by Camila Cabello. And I feel like that's how Stacey feels every time like he's around. Like everything quiets down when he touches her, like when he kisses her. Not only like kiss, but like touches her and stuff like that. And I feel like it's quiets both of their inner demons, you know, every time they are in the vacancy of each other. And I love that. And Kate is like so transatlantic coded, and like drugs and money and consume as actually, I think it fits. It's gonna fit more like for the second book, but like it fits now too. He's so transatlantic actually. And then there is Hurt You by The Weeknd, and he is so The Weeknd too. Like he's just like this dark person who is like struggling with the pressure of what he's going through, but at the same time he's like, you know, he's like hot. At the same time he's hot, like a Chase Atlantic song or The Weeknd song, you know what I mean. And there's Tattoo by Lauren, and Boys Don't Cry by Camila Cabello. This is how Stacey feels every time I feel like this is how Stacey feels every time he tries to push her away, because, you know, he does that a lot. And I Should Hate You by Gracie Abrahams. I feel like that's how Kate feels. He should hate her, but he don't want to. Like, he don't want to, and he can't. Also because deep down, you know, he's still in love with her. And Drunk Text by Henry Moody. That's how I feel like Kate feels when he is like high and he calls her, because he always calls her when he's high. He always thinks about her when he's high or drunk. And I think it really says something, you know, like she is the one person he would actually trust to be next to him when he is in that state of his life, I feel like. And Uh-Oh by Tate McRae, and Hotel by Montel Fish, because, you know, the hotel scenes, obviously. Yeah, and that was it. That was my thoughts on Insatiable, the first book of the Age of Darkness trilogy. And next time I'm gonna come up with the next book, which is I think starts with a V. I haven't really read the title, but I'll come up with that. And I hope that's going to not break my heart, hopefully, because I cannot take any more of this. Like, I want them to actually start talking to each other, you know, start to open up. And I don't know, like, they need to figure it out, whatever was going on there, and he needs to listen to her, you know what I mean. It would literally like take him like 10-20 minutes to actually listen to her, and they would probably figure it out and be back together in no time. But like, I feel like there's something inside of him that's telling him like, don't listen to her, you know what I mean. She have nothing to offer you, she have no excuse to offer you, but I feel like she does. She have something to offer, and he's just like, he's not ready to listen to her, I feel like. But I hope they actually fix this and they become together, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of Tobias and Bass, because I love him. I love that guy. Like, I need his book. And I heard that she started a book on him, and she was gonna write a book about him and Lou, and I'm hoping it's gonna be a good one, because, you know, and the fact that he's Russian, oh my god. And one thing I love about Kate is that he speaks several languages now, even though it's like a little a little bit, it's still something. Like, he speaks other languages, and I love that. And the tattoos, Stacy is, I imagine Stacy as like a very sexy person, and like she mentioned that she have a dragon tattoo on her leg, and I was like, wow, that is hot. I was like, I love this for her. And the fact that he designed her tattoos are like really beautiful. And he made their initials, and he actually hided it with another tattoo, but she didn't. And you know, it shows that she still thinks there is hope for them, and he is part of her life. He's not just a chapter in her life, he's part of her life, she thinks. And I love that. I love that she thinks that he is still the love of her life. He's gonna be the person she will always like look back on and be like, I had such an amazing time, I will never forget what I had with him, kind of moment. And I really love that. And yeah, that was it. That was all. And stay tuned for the next episode of book review. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, share, and copy link. You know, do whatever you want with it. But I hope you enjoy yourself. Bye.